What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Real Hook Set Outdoors. So today we're going to be reviewing the Pelican Catch 100 kayak. It is the classic paddle drive version that you can get at Academy Sports for about 600 bucks. We're going to do an in-depth review. I'm going to show you guys some footage of me actually fishing on it. We did a little stability test, all kinds of stuff. So if you guys are interested in that, stay tuned. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and just talk about why I bought this kayak. So quick little overview, we're just in my garage. Here's the kayak right here. So the reason I purchased this kayak specifically is because one, I needed something light. I car top my kayak, so I needed to be light and easy for one person to be able to load and unload. So I used to fish in a Sen 10T. That kayak was about 10 pounds heavier than this one, and this one weighs in at about 57 pounds, which is very impressive for a 10-foot kayak that is 34 inches wide and has a 350-pound capacity. Like, that's very good. As I said earlier, this kayak runs at about $600. So it's a budget kayak. I guess it depends on what your budget really is. If you can only spend 250, 300 bucks on a kayak, then maybe this is expensive for you, maybe it's not. For me, this is more of a budget style kayak that I plan on beating up and really pushing the limit. The other reason I wanted this kayak is because it's stable. Like, you can stand on this thing and use it as a paddleboard. So it really depends on your weight. I will say that because I did watch some reviews on it prior to me buying it, and they were bigger guys and they had a little bit of a hard time. They were still able to stand. But I think they might have been better off going with something like a new canoe or something that is made for bigger people that's a lot more stable. I weigh 185 pounds and I can stand on this no problem. When you're standing, you're going to feel a little bit of rocking back and forth, but the way the hull is built, it's like a little boat, so it's going to catch you on either side just like a John boat and not let you flip over. So as long as you don't lose your balance, you're good. I like to be able to stand up, stretch my legs, and also I like to stand and fish, especially when I'm bed fishing. I think it's really important to be able to get a higher point of view so you can see where those fish are at when you're sight fishing. So if your situation is like me, I think this is the perfect kayak to go with, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it and I'll show you guys all the features. All right, so just a little overview once again. So first thing we're going to talk about is the durability. The durability on this thing is actually very impressive. So this, I don't know how they make their plastic, how it compares to other kayaks. I'm not a kayak specialist, but what I will tell you is that my Ascend, if I was to stand on it, this would bow in, like the plastic would bend. That is not happening with this plastic on the Pelican Catch 100. It's very sturdy. I've had no issues with it. So we'll just get that out of the way. Now, that doesn't mean like go and treat it however and throw it around and all that kinds of stuff. You could still damage your hull. You could still break stuff. Obviously, this still is a $600 kayak. But from the quality that I'm seeing, I mean, you just can't beat it. So let's start up front here. So there's a carrying handle. There are 4 of these on this kayak. So there's one up front, one on either side, and one on the rear. And I will say I really like these handles. They're super sturdy. And they're not like those rope handles which can break, which you can always replace the rope handle, but why do that when you can just have one of these? Really nice. And like I said, I'm carrying this thing, car topping it, so I need multiple places where I can grab onto this thing and have a really good grip on it. So moving backwards, this is the front hatch. I'm going to be honest, I don't feel like this is built very well. You can see how it's flexing. Not a huge deal, like nobody's standing up here or anything like that. So is it going to break? Probably not. Maybe after a long time of using it. I'm not really using it anyways. I don't typically store stuff in here unless I'm going to be going on like a long trip or something like that. My other complaint with this thing is it's not waterproof. And then also there's nothing down there stopping your stuff from sliding all the way back, which is a double-edged sword because it is nice to have stuff be able to store all the way back there if you're going to fit a lot of gear in here, and it does have the higher weight capacity for that. However, it's also annoying because stuff can just slide back there that you don't want to. So if you put a tackle box, I don't know, whatever in here, it can just slide back. So I think I'm going to add something right here just to keep stuff from sliding. I wish they would have done that in the first place, but you know, $600 budget kayak, I'm not going to complain. The locking mechanism seems to work really well. I just don't think it was a very well made hatch. All right, so moving down from the hatch, we have the footrests. They're a little bit shaky, but they seem pretty well built. I mean, this is a little bit softer plastic than what the kayak is. You know, it's a budget kayak. At the end of the day, they work really well. I had no issues with them. I was able to adjust them out of the water, no problem. So those are good. Lots of different settings for you to put them. If you're a big, tall guy, you can set them all the way up to the front. Like if you're like me, I usually put them somewhere in the middle. I'm 5'8", 5'9", so the average Joe is probably going to have them somewhere in the middle. On either side of the footrest, we do have a Scotty mount. So I do like the Scotty mounts. They're very good quality, very universal. The only complaint I really have with these ones is I wish they were just a little bit further back towards the seat, but that's not a huge deal. I think what I'm going to do with mine is put in a fish finder and then probably an extra rod holder. All right, moving back some more. There are scupper holes, so there's 4 of them. There's one here, one under the seat, and then one back in the rear, which we'll get to here in a minute. I have noticed that some models have like a pad right here. Mine did not come with that. It's just a like stibbled plastic, which is perfectly fine. It was wet in here when I was standing up and I never ran into any issues. So for me, not a big deal. Also, there is a paddle rest right here. So keep that in mind. If you need a quick little place to put your paddle so it doesn't roll off, they do have that built in for you. So that's a nice little feature. On either side, right in front of the seat, there are these little plastic loops. I use these to leash down like pliers and catch boards and stuff like that. Bear in mind, they're not the best quality. You know, they're plastic, so I wouldn't put anything super heavy on them, and you can always upgrade them if you need to. For me, these work just fine though, no issues. Here's the other carrying handles on the side that I talked about earlier. And so now we're gonna get to what's really my favorite part about this kayak, and that is the seat. This seat is super comfortable. The seat on our Sen 10T was also super comfortable. This one is even easier to adjust on the water, and that's saying a lot because the less movement you have to do on the water to get things done in a kayak, the better. So for this one, if you want to adjust it, you just pull on these straps, lean forward, and it'll sit you up further. If you want to lean back, just lean backwards, put a little bit of pressure and release this, and it'll lean you right back. Super easy. There is 2 different settings for the seat. You can have it in the high setting or the low setting. This is the low setting, and that's good if you're going to be doing long paddles. It's just you paddle faster when you're closer to the water. When you're up fishing, you want to be able to see better. Put it up in the high setting, and you're good to go. Now, to secure the seat, there is a strap that runs right here. There's a cam buckle. All you do is you put the strap through the cam buckle, tighten it down, and then you're good to go. And I usually just tuck the XS under the seat. There's a little bit of room as well for storage. If you want to store some tackle boxes or lunchbox or whatever under the seat, you can definitely do that. So seat is awesome. You guys will love the seat, trust me. Moving backwards again, actually, so right here, there's a paddle holder. There's one on both sides. So most of the features you're gonna see on this kayak, they've done it on both sides. You see that with the Scotty mounts, with the D-loops, with the handles, and with the paddle holder. So it's just a bungee cord right here, a little plastic clip, same plastic that these loops up front are made out of. So again, just be careful. I could see potentially how this could break over time and be really easy to install a new one, but I haven't had any issues so far. However, I've only been using it for a little bit. So I'll give you guys an update video probably after a year of use, just to let you know what I did with it and how everything went and if anything broke. So moving backwards again, we have 2 built-in rod holders. So I noticed that on some models, there's rod holders next to the seat. I think they got rid of those because they were in the way of you paddling. I'm fine with them not being there because I'm going to install a black pack with rod holders anyways, or at least just a basic crate. So I don't really need extra built-in ones. You could definitely drill your own hole and do it if you wanted to. They even have it pre-marked. You can see that little dimple there. Same thing on the other side. So that is an option. Also on the older models, there was a standing strap. Mine did not come with one. It used to be secured right here. You can see where they would drill that hole. It's got the dibble in there, but they never drilled it. I don't need it to stand up. If you're a bigger guy, that might be something you need. For me, I'm able to get up, no problem. If we're coming backwards towards the end of the kayak, here's the last carrying handle. Also, here is the drain plug. It is a kind of a cheap plastic and rubber, but I mean, it's just the drain plug. Just be careful with it. Make sure you don't break it. It is secured, so it's not going to fall out. Obviously, make sure that that's down and secured whenever you're on the water. Okay, guys, so that is the basic rundown of the kayak. Get you a little side view here, and let's see if we can see the hole down there. It's almost like a boat, the way it looks. It's really neat. I think that's part of what makes it so stable, that and the fact that it's 34 inches. All right, guys, we're back at it again, doing some more kayak fishing. This is the new kayak I just got. It's a Pelican Catch 100. It's the classic one, so it's not like the nicest kayak ever, but realistically, I needed something light to fish all these creeks and stuff we have, and then on top of that, I needed something budget friendly and something that was stable that I could stand on. This is a lot more stable than my Ascend 10T. So it just fit my needs. I mean, this kayak's only 57 pounds. Major complaints with it is that it doesn't track very well when you're going on big long hauls. For what I'm doing, it's no problem. Like I said, I mainly fish no wake lakes and small stuff like that, so alright, guys, here's a little fish. He's not very big, but we'll take him. Glad we finally got on one. Pliers. Alright, there he is, guys. Nice little fish. Alright, guys, now that we've gone over why I purchased this kayak, we did a full review on it. I showed it to you in detail, and I showed you me fishing on it, testing it out, everything. My conclusions are that this is worth the money. I think it's a great kayak for the money. You're not going to get much better unless you wanted to go get a pedal drive. Maybe there's some kayaks that I'm not aware of that are a better deal. If that's the case, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know about it, because I obviously want to check those out myself, and I want the general public that's watching this channel to know about it. So go ahead and please do that. Also, if there's anything that I missed that you want me to cover, you want something in better detail, or if you have a question, whatever, throw it down in the comments. I promise I'll respond to you guys. Really appreciate you watching. Stay tuned. Have a good one. See you on the next one.